Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
We're at beautiful Black Lake Golf Club in northern Lower Michigan, and with us is the general manager, Nick Aune. And it's your first season, and boy, this place looks great. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the UAW Education Center here?
Sure. The Education Center was built by President Walter Reuther back in late 60s, opened in 1969-70, and it was built as a education center for United Auto Workers and to network and to solve the problems of the day in the workforce. And since that time, it's hosted many conferences, educational conferences. There's health and safety conferences that happen here, scholarship program conferences that happen here. And it's all been built about that educational piece and the networking among workers.
Well, the hotel and the lodging associated with the center are places that anybody can stay when they come up to play golf or just relax, and the architecture is just mind-boggling. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see.
Well, the architecture back, what we call the education behind the golf course, has always been somewhat secluded for the public. It's been private for United Auto Workers only. And about 3 years ago, they decided to open it up to the public and allow guests to come in and stay and play golf here at our wonderful golf course. And back there at the Education Center, we sit right on Black Lake, beautiful lake. We've got a beautiful old lodge back there. We have a couple hundred rooms with classrooms, a gymnasium, a tennis court. On the lake itself, we have paddle boards, canoe rentals, kayak rentals. So it's like a full destination resort back here.
And a swimming pool to die for. Well, I would call it the best solution for having an indoor-outdoor pool I've ever seen. It really makes you want to get your suit and jump right in. It's just huge.
Yeah, and I think the lay of the land back in the Education Center is really spectacular. There's not a lot of automobiles back there, surprisingly enough, that it's a United Auto Worker facility. So there's a real focus on nature, and there's a lot of wildlife back there. You're going to see deer, you might see a fox. We've had some fawns running around back there this morning, so it's really spectacular.
And the architecture, someone alluded to it as Frank Lloyd Wright in the woods, and I would have to agree because the scale and the details and the glass do remind you of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Oh, it sure does. It's really beautiful, and it was designed by a Swiss architect with Walter Reuther, and there was such a focus on making sure that it fit in with the landscape back there that Walter made sure what trees were going to be kept and not kept, and detailed exactly which ones he wanted to keep on the property, and some of those still have not been cut today over 45 years.
Well, that's why there's so many beautiful trees, and it's just green because there's windows everywhere you look, and there's even mirrors that are situated in such a way that you get double the effect. It's incredible.
Yeah. The buildings are all connected with a corridor, a glass corridor on both sides, so you really get the effect of, even on a rainy day like today, you can walk inside and see the nature around you, get the feel for northern Michigan, and but still stay dry, right? So that's an important thing on a day like today.
It sure is, but it's been beautiful, it's been relaxing, and you can come and play golf, you can swim, there's bicycles for rent, so there's no end of things to do, and I just can't wait to come back. So.
Yeah, and the location's great here. We're 30 minutes from Mackinac City, 30 minutes from Lake Huron, 30 minutes from Indian River. It's a great location that you can spend a few days here and see some of your other northern Michigan attractions as well. We've got some great stay and play packages. Our room rates back in the center right now are very inexpensive as we do this inaugural kind of grand opening of the Education Center to the general public.
Well, one of the things down by the lake is the old lodge, and I guess that has some stories to go with it.
Sure does. Back in the day, it was called Maxon Lodge, or still referred to with some of us as Maxon Lodge, and Lou Maxon owned the property back there, and he was a advertising executive out of the Detroit area, and he would have special guests come up, and one of those guests were Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. And the story goes that Lucille and Desi actually honeymooned up here way back when, and used to be frequent visitors up here at Black Lake, and would stay at the old lodge and enjoy the beauty of the natural surroundings here.
Can't blame them. It's secluded, it's beautiful, and the old lodge is a combination of rustic and cozy and elegant.
It's a great, huge cabin right on Black Lake. It's just gorgeous down there. They don't build them like that anymore.
However, the rest of the lodging around the center really kind of echoes the architecture.
Yeah, it sure does. That was part of the old property when it was originally bought by the United Auto Workers, and then everything else was developed by President Ruther back then to incorporate the natural surroundings.
Well, it might be called an education center, but I would call it a play center. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's something special back there.
It sure is. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.